Welcome to Pickers Running Ramblings. I hope this week everyone stopped when they were done and not when they were tired. So I hope everyone's had a good week with their training and whatever else they've been up to. Bit of a different session this week. Wanted to talk a little bit about the fundraising and the charity that's involved, which is JDRF, which is Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. So it's one of the reasons I wanted to start to bring this to the forefront of mind is I know with events that I've done in the past, you have to have more of a reason than to do it rather than just wanting to do it for yourself. There's got to be a good reason to keep going when things are starting to fall apart. So I want to start to get a bit of buy-in to type 1 diabetes, which is what it's all about, and want to share a few facts about it with you. After Easter I'll start fundraising, so there's a target that I have to hit to be able to compete. Confident that I'll get that target, but obviously it's a challenge. Everyone has different charities, and I think everyone knows, I have another charity that I fundraise for regularly, but part of this year is Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. So I've got a few fact sheets, so I'm going to refer to them throughout the blog. Type 1 diabetes, so this is type 1, not type 2, is what this is about. So because type 1 is the autoimmune disease, it's slightly different to type 2. It's an autoimmune disease that destroys the ability to produce insulin, which is a hormone that the body needs for life effectively, and it's most common in children, which is obviously the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation bit. There's currently no way to prevent or cure type 1 diabetes, and people with type 1 diabetes need multiple insulin injections or continuous infusion from an insulin pump every day. However, insulin is not the cure. I suppose you hear of people living with this disease, and maybe it's always just so common that you don't really think much about it, but obviously a fairly significant life impact, I suppose, if you've got this disease. So type 1 diabetes, 2,400 the number of people diagnosed with type 1 diabetes every year in Australia. Peak age for diagnosis is 10 to 14 years, and the annual cost incurred collectively each year by individuals with type 1 diabetes is about 570 million. Australia's ranked 12th for ranking of incidents with type 1 diabetes in children 0 to 14 years. The health complications of diabetes are common and can be severe, including kidney failure, blindness, nerve damage, amputation, heart attack, stroke and pregnancy complications. And after 20 years, almost all people with type 1 diabetes will develop some type of early stage eye damage. 50% of people with type 1 diabetes will have some form of nerve damage, which is obviously particularly debilitating and it's a major cause of increased mortality. Damage to the nervous system impairs healing and all too often leads to amputations through type 1 diabetes. Diabetes is also the leading cause of chronic kidney disease, which creates about 10% of deaths in Australia each year. Obviously, socially and obviously from a family perspective, you can't measure the impact that obviously type 1 diabetes would have on your life, but financially, base type 1 diabetes disease costs about $4,700 annually per person to manage. But if you have complications, and obviously that increases over time, it's up to close to about $17,000 per year. So Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, I guess its motto is it has a plan to turn type 1 into type none. Their vision is a future where your blood glucose levels can be controlled automatically, where you can sleep, eat, exercise and live as if type 1 diabetes is not in your life. Type 1 diabetes can be cured and is no longer present in your body, and type 1 diabetes can be prevented and never threaten anyone again. The foundation, JDRF, was established in 1982 in Australia. It is a worldwide organisation, but the Australian arm was 1982. And it provides people with type 1 diabetes and their families with support from the point of diagnosis onwards. 2014 JDRF was recognised as a Charity of the Year in Australia, and I suppose over time throughout the event, that in my training and lead up, I guess I will try to make contact with the organisation, or obviously I'll come across, now that I'll ask a little bit more about it, I'll probably come across some families with kids who are who are dealing with type 1 diabetes, and yeah, hopefully be able to do a blog, bit of a conversation with at least one family anyway, to get a true impact of how it does affect your life. So anyway, hope everyone is going well, and once again, thanks for the support. Easter next weekend, but we'll try to continue to post the blogs each week, and also load a few photos from the training that I've been undertaking each week. So anyway, have fun, all the best, and have a great week, everyone. Bye.